Open your textbooks to page 99. This is Self-Test 6-4, Section C, and we're going to look at the first example. Now this is what we mean by part writing. Okay, we're going to be given a figured base. Sometimes we'll be given Roman numerals. Sometimes we'll be giving a baseline. And what we need to do is realize that information into a four-part harmony: soprano, alto, tenor, bass. And these must follow all of the part writing rules we've learned about, including the melody rules. This is exactly what you'll do on your homework, your workbook assignment. This is also what you'll be creating for your winter break project. The difference is, for your winter break project, you will not be given any of this information. You will have to create it all on your own. So you will create the Roman numerals, the harmonic progression, and you will also create the baseline along with all this other stuff. Okay, so what we want to do is first name the key and analyze the chords. That's the first step. So notice our key signature. It has no accidentals. That means that we can either be in C major or A minor. We need to figure out which it is. So again, let's look at the first and the ending note. We have an A chord here, an A at the end. So that means we're probably in A minor. Also notice how we have some accidentals in our figured bass. Whenever we see that, that probably is telling us to raise the leading tone. So the best bet for this is A minor. And what you want to do is, before the example, simply write A with a colon and put it down here, and then you're ready to go. Next, you want to analyze the chords. Now, this figured bass doesn't look like much, and that's because a blank space means a root position triad. So most of these are root position triads. We'll be dealing mostly with that until after break. Okay, so right here we have, they give us the first chord, an A, C, and an E, which spells out a 1 chord. Next chord, if this is a root position triad, it would be based on E. So E in the key of A is 5. Now notice that we have a sharp sign here. The sharp sign means that we have to raise the third above the bass. Since it's not connected with any number, it automatically means the third. So that would give us an E, a G sharp, and a B, which gives us, just like we expected, a major 5 chord. An A, that would be a 1 chord. F, simply count. What is F in the key of A? A, B, C, D, E, F. It's a 6. And if you've memorized your diatonic chord qualities, you know that in a minor key, a 6 is major. Okay? If you have not memorized them, do it the long way. You would say, okay, we have an F, A, and a C. That quality is major. Next, we have a D. In the key of A minor, D is the 4th scale degree, and the 4th in a minor key is minor. And then here we have our same deal as right here, a 5 chord with the raised leading tone, and ending with our 1. Great, the next step you want to take is to compose a melody. Okay, so they give us the first note. We have a C. Next, what do we have? We have an E chord. So this can be an E, G sharp, or a B. You can choose any of those pitches. I think I'm going to go for the B. And you want to use the same harmonic rhythm, so keep the same rhythms as the bass note. Next, we have a 1 chord, so my choices are an A, C, or E. I'm going to go back up to the C. Next, F, A, or C. I'm going to add a little jump in here to give it some motion, so I'll go up to the F. Next, I have a D, F, or A. This one's a little tricky. I don't really want to keep it the same, but I can't jump, so I will keep it the same. I need a focal point, so that's something that's in my mind. E, G sharp, or B. Well, I'm actually going to go up to the G sharp. And you have to raise it because the figured bass is telling us to raise the third above the bass, which is a G sharp. And then the last note I'm going to do, A, C, or E. Well, since that's the leading tone, I got to do an A. This does give me a focal point. It's at the end of the song, which isn't really the best, but technically I've done nothing wrong. As a composer, maybe I wouldn't like that. Who knows? Okay, before you do anything else, check the relationships between the soprano and bass. Are you breaking any rules? So let's see. We have A, C, E, G, B. Here's a fifth, but A to C is a third, so we resolve that issue. F to F, we have an octave. Is that hidden? They go in the same direction, and there's a leap in the soprano, so I cannot make that jump there. That is illegal. So I have to change that note there. F, A, or C. I can do an A, or I can go to a C. So I think what I'm going to do is stay on the C. And that solves that problem. Next, D to F. No problems there. It's a third. E to G is a third. A to A is an octave. We do not have hidden octaves because they move in opposite directions. Good. Now, what I would do is just to double check yet again, I would sing through the melody, make sure it makes sense. So I have a mi right here, and I'll just pick whatever key I want. Do, re, mi. So I have mi, re, mi, la, ti, do. There we go. Perfect. Great. Next, what you want to do is then add in the middle parts, and you do this chord by chord. Remember, we always have to double the root of the chord. So I have an E and a B already there, which means I'm missing the doubled root, which is an E, and the third of the chord, which is a G sharp. Okay, so my choices are an E and a G sharp. To keep things simple, we don't want to move these inner voices a lot. I'm going to keep that tenor on an E, and I'm going to move the alto to the G sharp. Don't forget, always raise that leading tone. Whenever you work in a minor key, before you start, I would recommend just writing what that leading tone should be on the paper so you don't forget. Next, I have an A, C, so I'm missing an A and an E. Well, because I have this leading tone, I have to move that up to the A. I can go down in stepwise motion, but the best thing to do is to go up there. Easiest thing too. That leaves me A, C. My tenor stays on the E, which is perfect. Let's see, F and a C. That means I'm missing an F and an A. I'm going to move the tenor up and keep the alto on the A. Whenever you can, keep those inner voices the same. Very simple, very small jumps if you need to. A D and an F, that means I'm missing a D and an A, and I'm just going to start going through this kind of fast. Keep that there. Move here. E, G sharp, I'm missing another doubled root and a B. Put this dude right here. E, E, G sharp, that means this goes here. And actually, yeah, I'll just do it for now. And then A, I'm missing a C and an E. So I'll put the C right there. And I will put an E right here. Okay, that was my first instinct. Let's go back and see if I've made any errors. I know I have, actually, but we'll do it the very slow way. So look at the first chord. I have fifths right here, and then they move into an octave, so that's perfectly fine. I have an octave between the alto and the bass. That resolves itself. In root position triads, you are always going to have one set of fifths and one set of octaves. So here's my octave right here, and they resolve themselves there. That's fine. Where's my fifth? We have an E to a B between the tenor and the soprano, and it resolves itself. We also have one between the bass and the soprano, but we know the relationship between the bass and the soprano is fine because we already checked that. Here we have an A, C, E. That is a fifth. Resolves itself. Doesn't go to another fifth. What else do we have? A to A. That's fine. Look at this. F to an F and a D to a D. We have parallel octaves. So I cannot put my tenor right there. Okay? Never change the bass note because that's going to change your chords. So I'm going to swap the alto and the tenor and see if that fixes it. So let's see. A, C, E. That's okay. A to A. Up. Now I have contrasting octaves between the alto and the tenor. So that means I now have to change my melody. Okay, so what I'm going to do to change that melody, I know I can't put it on an F because that's going to give me contrasting, so I got to put this maybe on an A, actually. And that's not going to work for this one, for that leap. See how this kind of gets a little tricky? Definitely use a pencil when you're doing that. So I'm going to put the soprano on the A. And that means, let's see, what am I missing? F, F. I'll put that down on the C. Let's see if that works. A to A. F to A, that's fine. ACE, there we go. This works. Now the problem is I also have to change the end of my melody, right? Because I cannot leap that large and then keep going up. So as you can see, it takes a bit of time to do each of these examples. A lot of erasing. Feel free to do it on a separate sheet of staff paper and then turn in a clean example, whichever you want to do. But as you can see, it's hard to write these in 4 parts without having these errors. It's possible, but you just have to make sure you catch all of them and then rearrange everything. Okay? Great. I'm not going to finish this because I think you're probably tired of hearing me talk. So feel free to do these 2 examples in your book. You can kind of check them in the back. It might give you the chord, the Roman numerals, so you can check that. And if you want, turn it into me early, and this and your workbook assignment, and I can tell you if you're on the right track. Let me know if you have any questions.